Good morning and hearty welcome to you all. I welcome you all to the inauguration of the 8th batch of our flagship postgraduate program in management, 4th batch of postgraduate program in management for experienced professional, and 4th batch of doctoral program. I welcome our chief guest, Shri Manis Golgi, who serves as Vice President in Bain and Company. Our director, Professor Chandrasekhar, faculty colleagues, students of all our programs, and staff member of I am Visakhapatnam family. At the outset, let me congratulate the candidates for joining our programs. Isaac Newton once said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of the giant." Now, by admission in this institute, you have now been associated with brand IIM, which has been built over decades by multiple people who have come before you. With this association, you have gotten access to most important critical management spaces in this country. Though access does not give you right to be heard, the right to be heard will have to be earned via critical thinking, clarity of thoughts, and rigor in your analysis. So I congratulate and welcome you all once more. Further, I pray that all of you are guided by your aspirations and not the expectations. I welcome you all. Now, it is my honor to have Shri Manish Goyal with us as the chief guest. He serves as Vice President of Bain and Company and Chief Operating Officer for Bain Capability Network, a 1,000+ member office that assists Bain partners. Students of all the 3 programs were selected after rigorous admission process. My slide changer. Okay. Let me take you through the batch profile of all the 3 incoming batches. For postgraduate program, we conduct admission process over 3 different phases. First phase is based on your CAT scores. After we have sent out calls for all the applicants who have qualified our CAT criteria, we ask them to fill an application form. Then we create a pre-interview score that is used for calling all of you for the interview process. After interview process, this year we increased weightage of interview. Also, we made some changes to our admission criteria because our analysis said that the way we are conducting admission needed some tweaking post the outcomes that we were getting. So we made certain changes, and in the comparative analysis vis-a-vis last batches, it will come through. And finally, after a very rigorous interview process, we created a final composite score based on which all of you were offered admission. Now, if you'll see, this year we added 100 more seats to our PGP program. Last year we took 196 students. This year we increased it to 294. Further, all this new incoming batch joined us directly in our permanent campus. Now, whereas last year, major proportion of students came from engineering with 39%, and there were representation from other batches, other education stream. This year, due to change in admission, most of the batches primarily coming from engineering with 80% engineers, and management, science, and other areas have representation. Now, in terms of gender diversity, this year we see a slight decline in vis-a-vis last year. Last year we had 31% female candidates in our batch. This year it has come down to 28. Last year we had representation from good 20 states. This number stays the same even this year, but we have added few more states from Northeast region. Finally, one major change that we did in our admission process was to bring in more experienced candidates to our classrooms. So you'll see last year we had good 74% students who had no work experience and were freshers. This year, that number has come down to 28, and 72% of the batch has work experience, and average work experience of this batch is around 21 months. Also, if you'll see the distribution of work experience and which industries all these candidates come from, 35% of them come from information technology, a dominant sector in India, but 24% come from engineering and industrial region. So this representation was little less in earlier batches. This year we have been able to improve this. We do have representation from pharma, auto and banking and financial sector. Now let me take you through the batch profile of postgraduate program in PGPEx program. Again, this process is conducted in three broad phases. First, we ask candidates to apply for our program. Post-pandemic, this program did not see that much application number, but because we follow a very strict application to selection ratio, that's why number has come down a little. But our processes are very rigorous. We follow rigorous processes to select candidates. Once applications have been filed, we check it for eligibility. Then we create a pre-PI interview score. And based on that, we call candidates for interview. And we conduct a very rigorous interview process. And based on that, we selected 17 candidates this year. Now, as I said, post-pandemic, this at least one batch we had to run in its entirety in an online mode. But once this year we moved to offline mode, the application numbers dropped a little. But we have selected 17 candidates for this year. Now, last year, proportion mainly was from engineering student, around 68%. This year, the ratio stays the same. Around 65% candidates come from engineering, and other areas also have representation. Now, there are around 24% female candidates in this particular batch of PGPEx. And if you see in terms of work experience, this year we see most of the candidates, at least 40% of the batch, has 10 years or more experience. Now, whereas last year we had little more diversity from the sectors they were coming in, this year we have only gotten candidates from broadly public sector and private sector. Now, let me briefly take you through the batch profile of doctoral program. Now, as I mentioned that we have made some changes to cater to this shift from online mode to offline mode of teaching. As a result, we identified that last 2 years, the way programs were happening and the way candidates responded, we changed criteria a little bit here and there for all the three programs. For PhD program, our process is more or less is conducted over 3 phases. In first phase, we ask candidate to apply for our program. There are different scores that we use, including CAT, JRF, GATE, GRE, GMAT, and all. Candidates apply for this program. Then we create a pre-PI score, and based on that, we call candidates for the interview process. Furthermore, we had increased the application to 8 areas this year from 6, which was done last year. So this year, we invited application for 8 different areas. Now, after rigorous selection, we only selected 2 candidates for the PhD program. Now, last year, we had candidates from different areas. This year, one candidate comes from engineering background and another one comes from a management background. Again, both of them are male candidates. Last year, we had representation from different states. This year, one candidate comes from Bihar, another comes from Kerala. And both the candidates have experience of more than 3 years. Finally, the breakup is one comes from consultancy and one comes from education background. Thank you. Now to PGP chair, Professor Anuradha, standing from our PGP chair, Professor Sharma. I entrust to you the PGP batch of 22-24. To PGPEx chair, Professor Pani, I entrust to you the PGPEx batch of 22-24. To PhD chair, Professor Shiranga, I entrust to you the PhD batch of 2022. Now I would like to invite Professor Anuradha. Yes. Yes. I would invite Chief Guest to light the lamp. Professor Anuradha.
Thank you, Professor Milan. Very good morning to all our students, parents, our chief guest, Shri Manis Golgi, all my faculty and staff colleagues from IMB. At the onset, let me warmly welcome all our new students from all different programs to the IMB family. Since I'm stepping in for the chairperson of the PGP program, I think whatever I have planned to speak right now is more relevant to our young PGP students, the two-year PGP program that we have. I was actually going through, the statistics of CAT last year, and Google says that in 2020-21, around 2 lakh candidates applied for CAT and took the CAT exam. And here you are, 300 of, or close to 300 of the best from this pool. I welcome all of you here. And we know that the CAT exam is really tough. The interview process that we put in place to select you students was also extremely rigorous. So I congratulate all of you to have been through all that and then made your place for yourself here. So in a way, we can say you have kind of, forged yourself through fire. And let me assure you that the next 2 years here that you'll spend, and when you look back, everything that you have been through till now will seem like a cakewalk. Because the PGP program is designed to be excessively rigorous, and our intention is mostly to help students develop, apart from the academic rigor, the readiness to be in the business environment. And I'm sure all of our colleagues here who are working in corporates and do work and have worked in corporates know how tough it is to be there. And that's the intention of the way we design our programs, to ensure you build that kind of resilience in you. As far as the curriculum of the PGP program is concerned, I think that will be covered with you during the orientation program, so I will not be talking about it. I thought maybe what I should be covering is talking about the values that we wish our students to display and hold. Because that's very important for us. So I'll just spend a couple of minutes. I've kind of talking about 4 values which I think are very important for all of us. When I was a student, I remember one of my faculty telling me that I am part of this institute as long as I'm working in this institute. But as a student, this institute is a part of you for your entire life. Because all your life you will be a student of IIM Visakhapatnam. And that brand is going to determine your future, the kind of opportunities you get in the future. And we are also a new institute. We are also, have a set of values. So since you will be our flag bearers of our brand going forward, I think there should be some values which are in sync with our institute values. The 4 values which I think are very important for students. First is we as an institute are not merely focusing on you completing courses, getting a grade and getting a job. We aspire to build leaders, develop and nurture leaders here. And one characteristic of a leader is they take initiative. They have creative ideas in mind, they put it to action. And there'll be a lot of opportunities for all of you in the PGP program to do that. In your academic projects that you do, I'm sure your students will tell you that most of the activities in our institute are pioneered and are led by students. And the intention is basically that you take up positions of responsibility and understand what it is like to be a leader and to execute it. So I urge all of you to kindly be very active in these things, because that is where all your learning comes from. The second thing of a leader is strength of character. All leaders will have very strong characters, and that strength comes from honesty and integrity. I am very sure all of you already have these qualities within you. That's why you are here. But going forward, there'll be so many options that will come in front of you, where you need to choose between 2 or 3 options, and maybe some of the options which require you to stand by your values and your ethical values and principles will be the tougher options. I sincerely hope all our students have that capability and the strength to stand by their ethical values, whether it be academic rigor or any other values, whatever activities you are doing here. That's the second thing. The third thing is, it's not just being a leader. Of course, you are in a business program. Businesses are all about making money. We'll be teaching you how to make money, and you should be good at it. But a leader without a social conscience is not the kind of leader that we at IIM Visakhapatnam like to make. So consideration for others in society at large is something that I request all students to focus on. And if you look at our institute, there is, if you look at our surroundings also, in terms of environment, in terms of sustainability, in terms of any other social equality, there are so many opportunities. We have the beautiful hills that you can see next to the forest is a reserve forest. We are surrounded by small towns and villages, and I'm sure they have a lot of opportunities or problems that require business solution. So I would request all of you to, while you're doing your projects or doing whatever, please, or even otherwise, voluntarily go out, see what, what problems they are facing. And I think if we are an institute which is based in that location, we should be able to contribute at least to whatever problems are happening around. So that's one thing we are really looking forward to. And the last one point is that we want, of course, our students to be leaders. We want them to be ethical. We want them to have a social conscience. But most of all, we want you to be happy and contented, right? And trust me, that's a journey, because you need to figure out the B school environment is actually very competitive, whether it be in terms of evaluation or whether it be in terms of, your placements, etc. And the only way you can beat competition is if you know what your strengths are and you play on your strengths, right? You can't be anybody else. So I am hoping that the high quality academic inputs that you will get through your classroom, the peer interaction that you'll have on campus, and the really beautiful, campus that we have, the natural surroundings, everything together gives you an environment where you understand what you want to do in life, what will make you satisfied, what are your strengths, and focus on them. So here's wishing for you 2 years of personal growth. I hope at the end of 2 years you are a different person personally and you have been able to grow as an individual. So all the best and welcome again. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Anuradha. That was a very inspiring speech. Thank you. I invite Professor Saroj Kumar Pani, Chairperson PGPEx.
Thank you, Professor Milan. Respected Chief Guest, Mr. Goyal, our Director, Professor Chandrasekhar, faculty colleagues, staff, parents, and my dear students. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the PGPEx office and IIM Visakhapatnam, I welcome you all to this August Institute. It is a great day for you, for all the incoming students as well as for all of us who are part of this institute. Dear students, you are a very privileged lot. You have achieved a lot of things. As previously told, CAT is a very competitive examination. So congratulations that you are here. But beyond this, life is going to be tough. And this is just the beginning. What awaits you is hard work, expectation from faculty members, your colleagues, parents, and overall society, and a great deal of responsibility in these 2 years as well as after these 2 years. This is a special day for you, so I will not use my 10 minutes to speak about the PGPEx program or how we'll be dealing with you in these 2 years. But what I will tell you is 3 points what I think that many of us miss when we were students, and probably this is one of the responsibility that we remind you at this point of time so that you don't miss what we missed. And these are important aspects because we forget these things primarily because of the hecticness of the program and then while dealing with the grind of deadlines. But my request is that please think through these 3 points, and all these 3 points mostly we don't teach, so you have to do it by yourself. The first one is self-discovery. Self-discovery is a very painful process because it puts you towards change. It makes you question yourself. It brings you out of your comfort zone. So therefore, think what you want to be. Obviously, you will get a placement. Obviously, you will probably, because you are probably less than 1% of the entire population, you will never run out of money, or you will always have a good life. But please remember that life is important, money is not. Money is for life, life is not for money. That's number one. Number two, self-discovery doesn't probably stop with getting a good life. Self-discovery is all about also what is your responsibility. When tomorrow, after a late night kind of submission, you go to the class day after tomorrow at 8:15 or 8:45 and you are 5 seconds late, and I will ask you to stay outside, not come into my class. And I will ask you that entire 90 minutes you stand outside my class, you will be angry. And you will probably bad word when nobody is listening to the professor. And probably you will think about that what kind of institute it is. But once you get angry, once you think through all these things, also think about what is expected from you. What was your responsibility? What was your commitment to the program? What was commitment to the society? What was commitment to your parents? Have you gone through those kind of commitments? When you put yourself into these kind of things, when you question yourself, when you allow others to question your attitude, when you allow others to question your belief system, then only probably you will grow and you will learn. If not grow, at least you will learn. And therefore, please go through a phase of self-discovery in these 2 years. We ensure you that we will give you enough kind of circumstances to do that, but you need to do it, we will not do it. Second one is gratitude. Be grateful to everybody. For the PGPEx students, you know that Friday, Saturday and Sundays are gone. So your kids, your wife will probably creep after 6 months that what is happening for these 2 years. So therefore, please understand that they are also contributing towards your success. Your success is not only because of you, it is also because of your family members. Same thing for the PGP students. So your parents have gone through probably some kind of a grind so that you can get a good education and then you come here. So please be very grateful. Grateful to all those who do good. Grateful to all those who do bad, because they will make you learn and the good guys will make you comfortable. Whatever it may be grateful, because you will not get everything in life whatever you want. There will be something where probably you will not get what you want. And there you will lose your peace. When you are grateful, you will regain that peace. And peace is important after life. And therefore, please be grateful. The third one is, whether we like it or not, please be useful. Or what is your utility towards other or towards the society. Please remember that everybody loves you. Your teacher loves you, your parents love you, everybody in your family loves you. But the reality of life is that they love a little more about the utility that you bring to them. I will end this with a small story which probably everybody has already heard. So you know about the Vikram and Betal. So Vikramaditya was asked to get a betal out of a cremation ground. So he, in the middle of the night, because if sun rises, then the betal will not be captured. So he went to the Smasana Bhumi, and then with much kind of effort, he got the betal to his back, and while coming back. Now the betal had a condition. He said that, Vikramaditya, you are a good king. I have heard that you are also very knowledgeable. So I will tell you a story. And after that story, I will ask you a question. If you know the answer to that question, then please answer. Otherwise, your head will burst into 1,000 pieces. And if you genuinely do not know the answer to the question, then you can keep quiet. Right? And everybody knows that if Vikramaditya opens his mouth, then betal will probably go back. So first time Vikramaditya went with much kind of effort, he brought that betal from the tree, and then he was walking towards the exit. When the betal started the story, and after the story he asked a question, and now Vikramaditya knew the answer to the question. So he had to speak. So can you stop this mobile, please? Okay. So once he spoke, then betal went back. Now second time Vikramaditya went, he told a story and he answered, then he went back. So 24 times this happened, and Vikramaditya was extremely irritated, exasperated, and other kind of thing, whatever happened. So last time when he was bringing that, asked by that Kapalik to bring me back to him, what do you think he will do? Once you bring me to that Kapalik, he will make him very powerful, and then the first thing he will tell me to kill you. You will not able to your kingdom. Exist to solve problem of the kingdom. A king exists to answer questions. My dear students, in these 2 years, you exist to answer our questions. So this is what we will do. And even after 2 years, if you do not answer question of the society, if you do not bring utility to the society, then you are as good as a dead meat. Please remember that. Everybody loves you, but everybody loves more about the utility that you bring to the society. So always, whatever you are doing, ask yourself that how I am becoming useful to someone else. So therefore, 3 points, please remember. One is self-discovery. We will not teach you, you have to do it yourself. Second one is gratitude. Nobody teaches it, you have to do it yourself. And utility, you have to figure out what you want to do in your life. And in order to do that, you need to learn always. You need to learn continuously, not only in these 2 years, but throughout your life. So be a student, be a good student, and be always a student. Thank you, and welcome you again.
Thank you, Professor Saroj. So, in all honesty, we also used to get very frustrated, when betal used to leave every time. So I remember those stories. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us, and thank you for your inspiring speech. Now I welcome Professor B. Srirangacharyalu, Chairperson, PhD, for his speech.
Thank you, Professor Milan. Respected Chief Guest, Shri Manis Golgi, Director, Professor M. Chandrasekhar, Dean, Administration, Anuradha, my colleague Saroj Kumar Pani, Milan, faculty colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. As Anuradha also mentioned, this is a very important day today for all of you. Of the students that we take into this program. And whatever students we have selected into this program, those students are doing really good. And they are, the first batch students, they are writing some papers, they are about to submit papers to some good journals. And I'm very much hopeful that our students keep our brand image, and we provide accommodation, good accommodation, and we have very good campus now. You're all lucky, you are going to stay in the new campus, you will enjoy the beauty of the campus also. And those students who want to stay with their family or for any other reason outside, we provide HRA to the students, and we provide conference grants. They can go abroad, make their paper presentations. So a lot of facilities are there. So I request to all the, of course, you are not paying any tuition fee. We are providing stipend to the students. We are giving all the facilities to the students. So you have to give back to the institute and to the society. It will benefit you also, right? So I once again wish the students all the very best, and congratulations to the PhD students as well as the PGP students and the PGPEx students who got admission into these programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sriranga. Now I would like to invite Professor M. Chandrasekhar, Director, IIM Visakhapatnam.
Chief guest for today's function, Manis Golgi, my colleagues on the dais, my colleagues in the faculty sitting there in the front, all my staff member colleagues, all my dear students who are already in the institute and who are joining the institute today, I welcome you all to this function today and greet you. Let me begin by adding my own word of congratulations to the students of our flagship program, the program for experienced professionals as well as the doctoral program, because as my colleagues, Milan, the admissions chair, has already said, and other colleagues echoed that, you have come through a very, very rigorous selection process, a very tough one, and hence your success is a very sweet one. The second aspect about it is those of the young PGP students who are joining us, you are the first occupants of our permanent campus. And you know, as my colleagues have mentioned, this is a privilege which is kind of bestowed on you, and this adds to the conducive learning environment that you are going to have in this institute, and hence your stay, both in terms of the comfort that you would have and also the learning opportunities or the learning ecosystem that you would have, would be that much more enhanced because we have a full-fledged campus. Yes, true, a portion of it is yet to get ready, but in about 5-6 months' time, all that would be ready for you to enjoy the full benefits, amenities, and facilities that are available truly at a permanent campus. I would also like to congratulate the family members and the friends who may have helped you, assisted you to get into this program, and a special word of welcome from my side to all the parents and friends who have accompanied the students today to this function. Well, young students and also of the postgraduate program for experienced professionals and the doctoral students, you should be rightly and rightfully be proud that you have joined this top-notch IIM. You know, it may not, at the risk, I am the director of the institute, so even at the risk of sounding immodest, I would say that this is a top-notch institute that you have chosen to join, and I must congratulate all of you for taking that right decision. IIMV, the V in IIMV, friends, stands not only for Visakhapatnam, but it also stands for victory. So the very fact that you have chosen to enter this institute is, you know, it's a mark of victory for you as you go along through this program of 2 years, or the doctoral students about 5 years. Many of you young friends have actually, you know, either you are working, the PGPEx students or the PGP students, you have worked earlier at high pedigree organizations and blue chip companies, and hence the value add you bring into the program in terms of learning through your participation, active participation in the discussions that happen in the classroom is going to be substantial. So I would particularly like to compliment all the students who have come, bring with them a lot of, including me. I could be 60 years old, but every day is an opportunity for us to learn. So, you know, the chief guest here, despite his very high accomplishments, is a man of great humility, and that's one quality that all of you and all of us should kind of practice and imbibe as we go along in our life. Friends, IIMV, when I say, is one of the top-notch institutions. We have recently kind of crystallized and frozen our vision statement, which stands as to champion and excel in educating and nurturing entrepreneurial leaders in creating innovative solutions for business, government, and society. All the speakers who spoke before me, whether it is Milan or Saroj or Sriranga, have spoken about your commitment not just to the careers that you are going to have, but also in a broader sense to the society at large. Because not only making you professionally competent, not only that is our job, but our job is also, our task is also to make you socially responsible citizens. And I'm sure you will kind of honor those sentiments, and kind of, when you go through this program, you would also keep those values in mind. Friends, our mission states how else it could benefit the industry, how else it could benefit the society, what kind of innovative solutions could come out of the learning, something which should set your creative juices alive, kicking all the time. The third mission statement that we have is to promote relevance and excellence in all our academic, research, and allied knowledge pursuits. One, as I said, is relevance. Whatever we do has to be relevant, as I said, contextually to the society. As Swami Vivekananda once said, in a conflict between mind and heart, he said, always follow your heart, because that is the crucible of your ethics and values. That is the crucible of your values and virtues. So it is always important that we follow the calling of our heart. So it is our endeavor also in this institute to promote those ethical values. And finally, it's our mission to contribute to professionalization of management education with equity and inclusivity as the key drivers. Equitable in whatever we do, ensuring that opportunities are available to every single student, and also we provide these opportunities in a very inclusive manner so that every one of you enjoys the opportunities, leverages those opportunities for your own betterment and for the betterment of not just this institute, not just the industry you're going to get into, but the society at large. We have also set before ourselves a set of core values as we practice our mission, as we kind of work towards realizing our vision. We also say that in whatever we do, like I mentioned, we will always practice values of equity, we will always practice values of excellence, we will always practice the value of professionalism, and we will ensure sustainability, both in terms of environmental responsibility and social responsibility, and standing by our commitment when we do that. Friends, let me also say that not just these vision statements and mission statements and our practicing those statements that make us the best, I would also like to highlight that this institute has got the largest cohort of faculty on regular roles, and I'm extremely proud of my faculty, about 34, 35 of them, who bring with them impeccable credentials in academics and research. Friends, I have in this institute, and you are going to be a part of this family of this institute, and you should all be proud that the faculty cohort that we have in this institute is the highest, is the largest among all the third generation institutions, and even some of the second generation institutions. Why am I saying this? It's very important for you because the faculty who are so very accomplished in academics and research, and who bring with them a good blend of academics and industry experience to the table, are available to you all the time. These are not visiting faculty, these are not flying faculty, these are not part-time faculty or pastime faculty. They are there on the campus available to you, for you to access, for you to gain knowledge from, and that is a significant strength of this institute, which I am extremely proud of. And this is an opportunity which you should fully leverage. The other one, friends, is we are, as I said, as an institute, we are best because there are several first mover advantages that we have taken over the past 5-6 years. And one of them is a specialized MBA program in digital governance and management, We are the only institution in the entire country, leave alone IIMs. We are the only higher educational institution in this entire country which runs this program that has a specialization in digital governance and management, which is sponsored by the Ministry of Electronics and IT. We are friends, we are among the 9 IIMs chosen by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship to conduct a program called Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship Program. My colleague, Professor Shamim here, he pioneers and champions that program. We are trying to build skills in the youth, build capacities in the youth. Many of the youngsters like here, who are sitting here, build skills in them so that they kind of enliven and the skill ecosystem in 76 districts of the country spread across the states of Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, and Arunachal Pradesh. That's a very prestigious program, and we are one of the 9 IIMs, chosen IIMs to run that program. And we are one of the very few IIMs which have a full-fledged incubator, as a part of our ecosystem here. We have a Section 8 company called, Field. It's called Field Foundation for Incubation, Entrepreneurial Learning and Development, which is spearheaded by, again, 2 of my colleagues sitting here, Shamim and Deepika, with active support from my colleagues in entrepreneurship, Saroj and Sushil. And why am I saying this? Because there is an opportunity for you, young friends. If you have a creative idea, there is a platform readily available to you to test that idea. And this institute not only mentors you, not only helps you if you are going to choose the entrepreneurial path, it also funds you to test your ideas. Whether it is an entrepreneurship in residence grant, whether it is a prototype grant, it will kind of handhold you to test your entrepreneurial ideas. And this is one of the institutions, as I keep mentioning, we have been very, very successful in our entrepreneurship activities. We get grants from the Ministry of Electronics and IT for our activities. We get grants from the Department of Science and Technology, and there are corporates coming forward to fund our entrepreneurial activities. So here is a golden opportunity, friends, young friends, for you to avail not just the learning opportunity that you have in the classrooms, but also test your ideas. Step out of the classrooms, contact somebody like Shamim or Deepika or Saroj or Sushil, and see how best you could convert your creative, innovative, translate your ideas into fruition, translate your ideas into a tangible product or a service or a process. Here is an opportunity available for you, and a very rare opportunity that an IIM can offer. We are friends, as I mentioned to you, we are only the 5th IIM in this entire country to receive grant from the Ministry of Electronics and IT for a specialized program called Technology Incubation and Development of Entrepreneurship. And more about it you will learn as we go along. As I mentioned, we also have a funding from Department of Science and Technology for a specialized program called Accelerator Program. And one very, very specific thing in this context which I must highlight is we are the only IIM, mark my word, we are the only IIM to have a board-approved policy which will promote startups and the innovation capacities in the students. So students, when you want to really, after 1 year, you want to tread the path of entrepreneurship, we give you a placement holiday or we give you an academic holiday. As I said, we fund you because 1% of our budget we are setting aside every year to fund exclusively the ventures that the students may want to experiment with. And if they want to advance their ideas, we are setting aside, as I said, through a board-approved policy, a specific sum of money, which is, and money will not be a constraint for you to test your ideas. And we are the only IIM to be doing this. And we are also the only IIM in the country who has got a Dr. B.R. Ambedkar chair for social policy. And this is a very prestigious chair. And this helps us to conduct studies which bring in inclusivity, diversity, and social equity. So this is a chair which we, as I said, we are the only IIM which is pioneering this, and I am sure we will have great success of both research and capacity building under the aegis of this chair. We are the only 3rd IIM to sign for what we call as Principles for Responsible Management Education, an initiative of the United Nations Global Compact. And we are also a member of the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network. Why am I saying this? These institutions or these opportunities bring to you a huge amount of knowledge base, knowledge resources. There are several knowledge events happening which are open to you, which become open to you because we are members of these networks. So aside of your regular learning in the classrooms, you do have opportunities to broaden your worldview, to broaden your horizons of knowledge and learning through these opportunities. And that is something very unique about our institution. And as I said, friends, just as we are waiting for these 4-5 months for the campus to get completed in every respect. And when once completed, I already have a 5-star Griha rating for my campus. Why am I saying this? We'll have a net zero status in energy consumption, in water consumption, and carbon footprint. So, commitment to environmental responsibility is something which we already have a pre-approved Griha 5-star rating, which will get confirmed once I complete my 4 months or 5 months of this phase of construction. So you should also be, and I am only the 3rd IIM to have the 5-star Griha rating. So you should all be proud that you are part of the precincts, which is not only kind of knowledge-wise very, very intensive and challenging, but also an environment, a very salubrious precincts and environment which kind of promotes your learning. Our job here, friends, is to promote what we call, a very professionalization of management, a very professionalized management education. And our job is to improve your knowledge and skills. A renowned professor of organizational behavior in the business school, a famous business school called INSEAD at France, Professor Jennifer Petriglieri, she said, the job of good business schools is to contribute to the professionalization of management for the good of the society, which my colleague Saroj and others have highlighted, the professionalization of management education for the larger good of the society. And that is a principle we are committed to, and that is a principle which we will practice, and we will expect that all of you become partners in that effort. Our job is to enhance not only your intelligence quotient, which is system skills, helping you with all the management skills that make you succeed in your careers, but also it's our job to give you what we call as emotional quotient, not just the intelligence quotient, but also the emotional quotient, with which come all the soft skills that you require to make you to become successful in life. And the third quotient that we are going to give to you, not just the intelligence quotient, not just the emotional quotient, but also the societally conscious quotient or the social quotient. So in these 2 years, it's going to be a holistic learning for you, and you are going to be a well-rounded professional and individual once you imbibe not just the IQ, but also the EQ and SQ. And as I already mentioned, the hallmark of our teaching shall be relevance, the hallmark of our teaching shall be excellence and rigor, as Saroj and others mentioned. It's not going to be a cakewalk, because an MBA program and ask your seniors who are sitting on my right here, PGP2 students or the senior PGPEx students, it's going to be a very, very tough schedule for all of you. And you will need to make quite a bit of kind of sacrifices in terms of your personal time, etc., because that's a journey that you have chosen, you have set your foot upon, and we are here as catalysts for you to succeed in that endeavor. Lastly, friends, Bertrand Russell, a Nobel laureate, once said, education is not to be viewed as something like filling a vessel with water, but rather assisting a flower to grow in its own way. And that is our job. That is what we are going to do here. And Bertrand Russell also said, more important than the curriculum is the question of the methods of teaching and the spirit in which the teaching is given. And all my friends, faculty, colleagues personify this trait, because they have a genuine desire to impart to you what they believe to be of true value. So the learning is going to be rigorous, yes, but the teaching learning process is going to be rigorous, but it also will be facilitated in a manner by my faculty colleagues that you will enjoy it. So, and a special word for our PGPEx students here who are here. The program here, this 2-year program, will make you reflect and relate to your own organizations better. It will provide a huge a springboard or a knowledge platform for you to share your experiences, to imbibe best practices, and also kind of disseminate whatever you have learned to a larger audience. And our job, as I said, whether it is the young PGP students or the experienced ones, is to make all of you professionally more competent and well-rounded and socially responsible citizens. A word for my PhD scholars, young scholars who have chosen the doctoral program here. This program will make you ready for a good research career, whether it is in the academics or the industry. And so you should look upon, it's going to be a long haul. As Sriranga mentioned, it's not going to be an easy one, but there are opportunities for you to pursue kind of various opportunities like attending conferences, etc. And as Sriranga said, it's a fully funded program. Not that one single Naya Paisa you need to spend when you attend this program. Everything is funded by the institute. And secondly, we are also taking care in this institute that the stipend I provide is always benchmarked with the highest stipend being given by any IIM in this country. If any IIM is giving more than us, we immediately scale up so that we match that. So it is important for us that when we provide this learning, there should also be an opportunity for our students to be comfortable in the living that they may have. Some of them may have families and may have taken break to pursue this program, but it is our commitment to make that, that learning process as comfortable as possible. Finally, friends, I have talked about our job, but your job would also be to adjust to the demanding schedules, the work schedules for PGPEx, the family commitments that you may have, and also the study schedules, which could begin at 8 in the morning and last till 9 o'clock in the night. And friends, as all of you will appreciate, it's only in the dictionary that success comes before work. In practice, in true life, work has to precede success, and that is the mantra that you should practice. There is a book called Vikasa Mantras published by Ramakrishna Mission. In that, very interestingly, in a lighter vein, they say if you give each alphabet a number, A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, C is equal to 3, like that, if you add L-U-C-K, luck, it only adds up to 47. But as our friend Saroj here said, if you add discipline, it adds to 100. If you add attitude, ATTI, etc., it adds to 100. Which means attitude and discipline, you get 100 out of 100 score if you have these two traits right. Even knowledge, if adds up to only 96. Hard work adds up to 98. So what is important is to have the right attitude, an open mind, and then the discipline that Saroj highlighted that you must have, that you must practice to make this program a success. There is a book written, there are 3 books which I would quote. I am not an agent of this gentleman. He is a professor called Calvin Newport, who is a professor of computer science at Georgetown University. He has written 3 very, very interesting books. And mind you, I am not an agent. I am just suggesting, in case you have free time, you could pick up any of these books and read. One is called Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. You have so many electronic gadgets and attractions and media, etc., which tends to kind of distract our attention. So he has written a wonderful book, How Do We Discipline Ourselves? Focused Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. The second one that he wrote is called Digital Minimalism. All of us are kind of, including me at my age, we are kind of hooked to a Facebook or an Instagram or LinkedIn or WhatsApp or what have you. So he spoke about how do we make our lives more meaningful. And in that book, he gives us useful tips. The book is called Digital Minimalism. And he talks saying that fear of missing out, what we typically called as FOMO. FOMO should lead to JOMO, the joy of missing out. So if I am not watching my WhatsApp for half an hour, it's okay, because I am focusing on something more important and something which requires my undiverted attention. And the last book which Calvin Newport has written, which I would like to highlight, and I like this book out of the 3. The book reads, the title of the book is So Good They Can't Ignore You. And in this book, he describes that as a student, and all of us are students, including me, all of us should, imbibe what he calls as rare and valuable skills. If I am looking for a career which is going to be rare and valuable, it first, it devolves on me, it behoves on me that first of all, I must possess rare and valuable skills to aspire for a job or a career that is going to be rare and valuable. So it's important, friends. I'm just saying that there are, apart from the learning that you may have in the classroom, there are useful books like this which could help you kind of, travel on your learning journey. So my final piece of advice is make best use of the learning resources that you have, learning opportunities that you have. As I said, we have 35, 36 very, very well accomplished faculty, extremely knowledgeable faculty. Do make demands on their time, both in the class and off the class, and learn as much as you can. Take active part, as some of our colleagues have mentioned, I think Anuradha mentioned it. Take active part in the events and activities of the institute. And it is these co-curricular and extracurricular activities that will enhance your leadership skills, that will make you more comfortable in your role, in a larger role which you may assume later in your careers in industry and society. And, it's always said that, in fact, Dr. Mashelkar, the former Director General of CSIR, once said, work hard in silence, let the success make all the noise. So your job is to bend your head down and focus on the work and work hard for these 2 years or 5 years for our PhD students. And what does that yield? At the end of it, what will we get? As Abraham Maslow, the American psychologist, said, what a man can be, he must be. In the sense that if I am capable of something, I must fully realize it so that I kind of bring to bear on whatever I do my true potential. So I would conclude by saying that you have embarked on a journey in this prestigious institute, and I do wish that your learning time over these 2 years or 5 years is going to be very enjoyable, very, very enriching, and very, very engaging. And may you have a wonderful and memorable time here. And friends, since we have moved into a new campus, there could be minor infrastructural glitches. We have already put in place a mechanism where those glitches are readily identified and rectified. So if there is a bit of an inconvenience caused to you, I would like to kind of apologize. But I'm sure these things will get ironed out sooner than later. And one last request that I have is, when you become a part of the family of IIM Visakhapatnam, do everything. You can leverage the name of IIM Visakhapatnam for all the good that you would like to do over these 2 years and after these 2 years. And may you, through your acts and deeds, may you preserve, protect, and promote the prestige and popularity of this institute always. Godspeed and God bless you.
Thank you, Professor Chandrasekhar, highlighting our diversity of all our offerings, our commitment towards social cause, equity and inclusivity in all that we do. Friends, let me now introduce our chief guest, Shri Manis Golgi. He is a IIT Delhi and FMS alumnus. He has been working for 20 years in consulting, strategy and operations and general management. Currently, he serves as Vice President of Bain and Company, Chief Operating Officer for Bain Capability Network, a 1,000+ member office that assists Bain partners, product and practice leaders and client in delivering consulting services on a diverse range of cases. He has an entrepreneurial mindset with track record of innovating, building and scaling new services offering. He has led revenue growth of more than 10x for last 5 years. He is responsible for founding and scaling multiple global centers of excellence for the firm, which drive innovation, new solution/product development, and expert consulting delivery. Further, he is responsible for office strategy, growth, profitability, operations, resource management, and talent development. Shri Manis Golgi, I welcome you to IIM Visakhapatnam, and I request you to share your thoughts. Please come.
Good morning, friends. All right, the energy is building up, right? You had your breakfast? Good morning? Right, great. Let me first thank Director Sir and entire team of IIM Visakhapatnam for giving me this opportunity. It's a privilege, it's an honor for me. Second, I want to welcome all of you. As mentioned, you are amongst the top 1 or 2% talent of this country. You should be really, really proud of yourself. Please congratulate yourself once for this. And let me tell you that in my role at Bain, I had almost 100 campus visits in 10 years, interacted with 30 to 40,000 students, but all of those interactions were about placements. So I'm not used to this kind of interaction. So this is first time, so excuse me for that. But let me start with some reflections of what I heard. Professor Anuradha mentioned about leadership. I want to start with summarizing leadership, because you will read a lot about leadership. But leadership, in one word, is all about accountability. If you want to be a great leader, you first need to learn to take accountability. Professor Saroj said about being useful. That's really true. I can guarantee that all of you will make a lot of money. Ma'am, you don't have to teach them how to make money. They will make tons of money, more than what you need, more than your parents. Maybe 99%, let me take some exceptions. But some of you will make money in useful ways. Useful for you, useful for your family, useful for your community. And many of you will make money for the heck of making money. So make money, but make money in useful ways. Professor Chandrasekhar mentioned about the new campus. You are lucky, you're fortunate, you got such a beautiful campus. I want to just say one thing or two things about that campus. Please take care of it. It's a beautiful campus. You need to take care of it. Don't treat it like a hotel, treat it like a home. Secondly, Director Sir said, there might be glitches, and he apologized. I'm surprised, sir. There will be glitches. Let me tell you, I have built 3 offices. I have found glitches despite all best effort. If you find glitches, own it and fix it. Nobody is going to come to help you. So it's your home. Treat it as your home. Second, sir mentioned about entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship? Anybody, what do you think entrepreneurship is? Anybody? Sorry. Addressing a problem, solving a problem. It's a way of life. You don't need to be an entrepreneur to live the journey of entrepreneurship. It's a way of life. It's what we do on a daily basis. So your mission revolves around entrepreneurship, and you have to live it each day. You don't have to wait to be recruited by a startup firm to really start your entrepreneurship journey, or start a startup firm to do that. You can do it on a daily basis. And lastly, sir mentioned about EQ and SQ. Let me tell you one interesting fact. All of you here have high IQ. No doubt about it, right? You've cleared CAT. It's a very good test. It's a very rigorous test. You have high IQ. That's why you are in this room. But if I rate you on EQ and SQ, you will range from very low to very high. So your journey from here is not going to be dependent on your EQ, my friends. It's going to be dependent on your, not dependent on your IQ. It's going to be dependent on EQ and SQ that you will develop from here on. So focus on EQ and SQ, you have great IQ. And let me add few details to my introduction, sir. If you observe my journey carefully, you will see that I graduated from IIT Delhi in the year 2002, right after the dot-com bust, right after the 9/11 crisis. The last thing you want to be is a young chemical engineer, right? Nobody wants a young chemical engineer. You will never get a US visa. as part of my curriculum or program, I got a day zero job, largest FMCG firm. That was August 1st of August 2001, when I started my final year. But by October, me and 50% of my friends lost our job to slow down. The fortune didn't end there. I graduated from FMS in 2008. Now some of you are laughing. Yeah, it's not about me, friends. It was not me doing a perfect anticipation and planning, but probably a matter of good luck. So right after financial crisis, I was hired in January again because the financial crisis kind of began a little late, around February onwards it began. But January I got placed with a global consulting firm in the Singapore office. By February, the office went bankrupt. They moved me to the Kuala Lumpur office. By March, Kuala Lumpur office went bankrupt. They moved me to Middle East, Dubai office. No, they didn't go bankrupt this time. I finally joined with my wife. I joined Middle East office. I went to Dubai. In June, I went there, and in July, they had no work in Middle East. And they said, can you please move to Riyadh from Dubai? I was like, this is too much now. Let me go back. So I quit, I came back, took a 85% pay cut, joined some firm here. Now you're wondering why I'm telling you all this. See, you can say that when I graduated from both campuses, I had the best placement, day zero or day -1, whatever way you want to define. And I had no placement. In realistic term, I had no placement. But the reason I'm talking about this fact is I feel the way business schools are treated in India, it's all about placements. The reason why people join business school, the only marketing any business school does in India is all about placement statistics. People come looking at placement statistics. Placements is an outcome, not a goal. So if you came to this institute looking at the placement statistics, probably it was a wrong reason to be at the right place. But if you came to this institute looking at the course curriculum, faculty, etc., you probably are here at the right place for the right reason. And why does that matter? My journey of 20 years, I feel there are 4 Ps, and I'm now trying to make it in the MBA language. Second-year students may absolutely understand. 4 Ps. 4 Ps of your career, not about marketing, sorry. Can anybody guess what 4 Ps matter in your career? Place, patience, passion, people. Right. So here is my definition of 4 Ps, and in the right order. The first is purpose. The reason of your existence, what you really want to be, right? That's the number 1 thing which defines your journey. And it's not just your professional journey, it also defines your personal journey. The second is passion. What you really love doing, what gives you energy, right? The third is pride. What makes you feel proud, happy about yourself, proud about yourself. And the fourth is performance. How are you able to execute? So there's no placements in the 4 Ps of your career journey. But when you start your journey with the 5th P of placements, you mess up these 4 Ps and you treat them in a reverse order. You start from performance. And performance is defined by the CTC of the job which you land in. Right? That's the performance. Then comes pride, which is I got day 0 job versus day 1 job versus day 2 job, or sometimes I got a day 1 versus my friend got a day 2, so I'm feeling proud of myself. Passion is lost because when a marketing firm comes, you build a marketing CV and you are good at marketing, your passion is marketing. When a banking firm comes, you build a finance CV. I don't still get this concept of different CVs that business school people prepare. And your passion is suddenly banking. And sometimes, if you're confused, your passion is consulting, right? Like me. And purpose is lost because you just want to participate in a rat race, and the purpose, the whole purpose of your existence is to be the strongest rat in the race. So, long story short, you've arrived at a great place. Make best use of the next 2 years by focusing on the learning, not placements. Placements is an outcome, not a goal. Don't chase outcomes in your life. Chase meaningful goals. And with that little bit of expanded intro about myself, let me take you through some trends which are defining or which are influencing the business environment of today. And before I get into this, let me tell you, this is not to scare you. These trends, what we are seeing, what we are observing, this is not to scare you. This is to alert you, give you broader perspective so that you can prepare yourself for the business environment and for future journey. Let me start with the simple question. I'm taking US market as an example here. You see 3 boxes. The first box is the growth rate, general economic growth rate. Last two decades, the growth rate has come to half versus the previous 2 decades. So the growth is down. Volatility is up. Volatility, for all of you know, is a measure of, come on guys, second year guys, I'm looking at you. Volatility in market is a measure of uncertainty. Uncertainty is equal to risk. Thank you. Yeah, so the risks have gone up. Now, some of you have done finance, accounting, etc. When growth comes down and risk goes up, valuation should go down. Valuation should go down. But look at the last chart, last box. Valuations have went up crazy. Why? Let me give another example. Have you ever wondered why companies with negative profits or no plan to profitability in the next visible 5 years are highly valuable? Investors are not fool, right? There is a reason why they are highly valuable. Have you ever wondered? Any reason you feel? Why is this happening? This is very confusing. No accounts, no finance can justify this trend. All right, I'll not test your gray cells too much, but see, this is the reason. We are living in the world of capital superabundance. Last 20 years, the world was flush with money. Blame it on the demographics of the advanced economies where the baby boomer generation was getting to the retirement stage, a lot of money in pension funds and many, many reasons. But the reality is there was just too much money in the world. And unfortunately, bulk of this money was going in financial assets rather than infrastructure. So rather than infra and productivity enhancement, this was going more in financial assets. So what happens when there's a lot of money? It's almost $1,000 trillion of financial capital that exists in the world today, 10 times global GDP. When you have so much money, the cost of money goes down. And that's what we saw. The real cost of borrowing, if you take the inflation, the tax shield, etc., the real cost of borrowing came down to 0 or even negative. So when you can borrow easily and at 0 cost or negative cost, you end up borrowing a lot more. And you fund projects which will probably get profitable 10 years down the line and nobody questions you. Right? The interesting fact, and this is Bain analysis, a lot of data-backed calculations here, so please take it on face value, but I can assure you this is well researched. When you have a lot of money, the incentive to save goes down. It's as simple as if I have a lot of money, then there is no incentive to save. So if you look at this table, when the interest rates are high, let's take WACC of 12% scenario, weighted average cost of capital, 12% WACC scenario, for every dollar you save, your valuations go up by $6. But every dollar you earn, every dollar you add to your revenue, your valuation only go up by $1. So 6 times more returns on saving more money. And that's why if you see the management, the MBA, pre-financial crisis, was all about operational efficiencies, right? We've lost that little bit in last 15 years, but it was all about operational efficiencies, supply chains, tech-based efficiencies and all, because the core of good management was be most efficient, save money. That's the way to create valuations. But when the cost of capital goes down to 6%, which is the scenario we were in last 15 years, you still get $6 valuation upside for saving $1, but you get $27 upside for earning an extra $1. Can you believe it? There are 5 times higher incentives to invest in growth versus save money. You talk to your parents and they will tell you the only way we used to, and I'm including myself there, used to evaluate stocks, if we are investing in stocks, is how much dividend they pay. Because they pay good dividend means they're making good cash flows, they're making good profits. Today, actually, investors are not investing in firms which pay good dividend, they are investing in capital consumptive firms, those who are taking capital and consuming capital. The chart here, the blue line is NASDAQ. NASDAQ I'm taking as a representative of tech, biotech, startups. So capital consumptive firms which are investing in long-term growth. And the red line here is S&P, which is broader economy, like all sectors. And you see the difference. The returns you got on the NASDAQ companies is much higher than what you get on the broader market. Because everyone wanted to invest in capital consumptive firms because the capital was very, very easily available and they wanted to invest capital. So companies which are paying dividend, they probably are seen as they don't know how to use money. So their leadership is not good enough because they don't know how to use money and they're paying money out to people. Interestingly, if you see the kink there, the down kink and sudden uptick is when the COVID crisis hit us. This trend, this gap expanded after COVID. Now you would assume COVID induced some slowdown, so the money should have gone out of the system. So this trend should have reversed, but didn't. It accelerated. Why? Any guesses? More funds. Why? Okay. So partially, yes, like high wealth or high net worth individuals made more money or more savings, so they were actually better placed to invest more. But more importantly, COVID induced huge crisis and slowdown, and governments reacted to deal with COVID induced slowdown and job losses. If you look at advanced economies, the G20 advanced economies, together they infused liquidity worth $16 trillion. Almost 30% of their GDP was infused as liquidity to support the economy. That's a lot of money. So again, a lot of this money went into financial assets, and you started seeing this, like, no, it helped us get a V-shaped recovery. Absolutely. I'm not saying this was wrong or right. I'm saying this helped us got a V-shaped recovery, but it also led to a lot of asset bubbles. And that's why that kink you see, sudden upside you see. But what next? What next? When you invest, when you create so much liquidity, you create demand. Great, you have V-shaped recovery. But when you have so much demand without supporting infra for supply, you end up with inflation. And that's where all of us, businesses, governments, central banks, were caught off guard in beginning of 2022, right? Suddenly things went crazy. Inflation is at all-time high across the world. Central banks suddenly are moving from supporting growth to stabilizing prices. Everyone is focused on stabilizing prices. They are raising the benchmark rates in every meeting, and they should, because inflation is at all-time high. Now, when benchmark rates suddenly start going up, what happens? The trend we were seeing in last 20 years, free money, lot of money, suddenly that liquidity is getting squeezed out of the system. And that's when the interest rates start going up, and your capital starts getting expensive. You get more questions on, I want free cash flow. I don't want to invest further. I want to make profit. I don't have funds to make losses for next 5 years, 10 years. I want to generate profits. The sudden change in the mindset comes when capital gets expensive. And that's what we are seeing today and it just began in last 2-3 months. In Q1, everyone started 2022 on back of great 2021, high recovery, high hopes. By Q2, beginning of Q2, everyone realized that it's very bad inflation situation. Rates are going to go up. You need to focus back on profitability. So be very careful in how you're spending money. The risky part of this is if you look at last 2 crises we had, they were induced by a big trigger, like 2001, 2002, there was a dot-com bust, plus there was a 9/11, sudden trigger was there. 2008, there was a financial crisis, Lehman collapse, etc. There were big triggers. This time, it wasn't due to any big trigger. It started because of the inflation or overheating, and triggers may come going forward. Because we are at a highly leveraged situation. The world is sitting on a debt of $300 trillion. That's a huge, insane amount of debt. The increase in the debt, the global debt, in last 1 year has been the highest since World War II. When the world is sitting on such high debt and interest rates start going up, every 1 percentage point increase in interest rates with $300 trillion debt mean $3 trillion in interest burden. And those who are highly leveraged, companies, countries, individuals, start feeling the pain. We are already witnessing this in Sri Lanka, in Turkey, in Argentina. So this may induce 2nd or 3rd tier problems and some default risk. So what does that mean? Why I'm talking about all this? I want to tell you that you are living in a world full of uncertainties. And you need to prepare yourself for that. Right? You're fortunate, you made it to the best IIM, one of the best IIM, one of the best institute. You have great learning resources. You need to use all of that to prepare yourself to enable yourself to deal with uncertainties. As a business leader of tomorrow, you cannot rely on just planning and strategy. Because of the uncertainty, you cannot just anticipate. So you have to be prepared to deal with uncertainties, and that brings us to almost 150-year-old wisdom. Remember, it's not the most intelligent or the strongest who would survive. It is the one who's most adaptable and resilient who will survive uncertainties. So, a lot of things we mentioned about EQ and SQ. This relates back to that. It's not only about your IQ. It's about your EQ. Your adaptability is going to be a lot more important. Honestly, if you ask me, 5 years back, 10 years back, when we would go to campus, we would look at, or we would get highly influenced by the talent coming from very blessed backgrounds. Metro cities, best schools, best colleges. They are very confident, they're very polished in a way. They know how to deal with clients, they're ready, right? Today, when we go to recruit, we look for people who come from humble background, who have seen failures in life. Because these are the individuals who can survive uncertainties. Those who know how to fail and how to bounce back. So, your resilience and adaptability is the key. And let me leave you with the final thought here. What does it mean? Definitely you need to build your resilience and adaptability, which is building your EQ, your SQ over the next 2 years. But more importantly, focus on yourself. Focus on your health, your family. There are working executives here, PhD students here. My wife did PhD a few years back, and I can tell you how hard it becomes when you have to manage so many things in life. But it's your health and your family which gives you the energy to fight and to survive. So that should be the first focus. Second, be fearless. The failures are inevitable. Be vulnerable. Don't say, I don't want to fail, or I don't want to take risk. Instead say that I want to fail often, I want to fail fast, and I know how to bounce back. If you have never failed in life, please fail once, because success will not teach you anything. Success will at best give you arrogance. Failures will give you learning. So don't be afraid of failures. Fail enough, fail often, fail fast, and bounce back. And lastly, again, you come to this institute, you are paying a lot of money, you have loans, etc. I know placements are important to repay, to do something well for your family. But let me assure you, whatever will be the placement statistics or your placement day or placement CTC, you will make good money. And therefore, don't be afraid of the ups and downs. Don't be afraid of day 1, day 0, day 3, whatever taxonomy you use here. You will have your fair share of good times and bad times. Nobody can take that out. You will have your fair share. But if you are humble, if you maintain positive attitude, and if you maintain your intellectual curiosity to learn and change, you will survive toughest times when it comes. So don't be afraid of them. Focus on your learning, and the success is an outcome. Placement is an outcome. It's not the goal you should chase. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Manis Golgi. To be honest, I have also burned a lot of money in growth-induced firms, which listed on our stock market in last 1 year. So I know, right? So, and just for a brief, I am a faculty in operations, so I know, good operational efficiency is still the backbone of a good firm with all these. Thank you for your inspiring words. Although your PPT was a little scary, especially to first year batch with their parents and looking at a recession kind of stats there. But as he reiterated, idea of Management Institute and learning is to develop your understanding of how world works. You must be more focused towards understanding, building attitude for problem solving. Something which our director also reiterated, which is there in our vision, that we want to impart entrepreneurial leaders, learning which can create leadership that is geared towards problem solving attitude. So once you learn this, and one more thing which you must have realized from his speech, 3 bankruptcies still means you can find job, you can still succeed, right? So don't worry. Thank you again, chief guest. Now I would invite Professor Anuradha to announce Director Merit List and Merit List for PGP program.
I'd like to request our chief guest, Manishi and Sir, Professor Chandrasekhar, to kindly give out the certificates to the students as they come on the dais. So I'll read out the names of the students, request you to come on the dais as I call out your name. So we'll start with the merit certificates. Students who are ranked first on the basis of academic performance, term grade point average at the end of terms 1, 2 and 3 will be awarded a book grant of 6,000 rupees and a certificate of merit. The names of the awardees term-wise are Anshika Singhal, term 1, section A. Akshita Agarwal, term 1, section B. Minku Goyal, term 1, section C. May I request the students to kindly stand here so that you can. Ritvik Mahajan, term 2, section B. Sahil Rasivasya, term 2, section C. Ayan Verma again, term 3, section A. Badam Shri Shweta, term 3, section B. Sonal Shivaji Rao Pawar, term 3, section C. Now I'll call out the names of the students who've got the director's merit list. The director's merit list is given to the top 5% students in the batch on the basis of academic performance, the cumulative grade point average CGPA at the end of the first year. The eligible students will be awarded a book grant of 10,000 rupees and a certificate of merit. Ayan Verma. Akshita Agarwal. Badam Shri Shweta. Ritvik Mahajan. Setu Parvati. Prapti Alok. Rashi Davar. Sahil Rasivasya. Shaheen. Sheikh Sonia. Sonal Shivaji Rao Pawar. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Anuradha. I invite Professor Saroj Kumar Pani to give merit certificates for PGPEx 21-23 students.
First, merit certificates. Students who are ranked first on the basis of academic performance, term grade point average at the end of term 1, 2 and 3 will be awarded a book grant of 6,000 rupees and a certificate of merit. The name of the award is, as per term, is term 1, Kunal Ranjan. Term 1, joint owner, Bhenugopal Challa, he is not here. Then term 2, Kunal Ranjan. Term 3, Kunal Ranjan. Now the director's merit list. The top 3 students in the batch on the basis of academic performance, which is CGPA, at the end of the first year are included in the director's merit list. The eligible students will be awarded a book grant of 10,000 rupees and a certificate of merit. The name of the awardees are Kunal Ranjan, Tanmaya Gupta, VVSS Avinash गोका भरतपुर. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Pani. Now I would invite Professor Chandrasekhar to felicitate our chief guest. Please come, sir. Now, we come to the end of this inauguration session. So, let me thank all the people who have helped us in conducting this entire interview process leading up to the inauguration ceremony. First, I would like to thank our chief guest, Shri Manis Golgi, for your both inspiring and fear-inducing speech, by which I am certain that will... Yes, and in a management school with so much talk, so, but I thank you, sir. It was a very inspiring speech just to understand how dynamic business environments are and where energy for students should go in making themselves more competitive, learning a lot, and be flexible around their choices. And what all matrix not to focus in a B school, especially placements. Right. So I think after we leave this room, they'll again go back to placements, right? But it's an advice. It'll serve you well. Many people lose sleep during our placement seasons, right? You don't have to do that. And fortunately, we don't follow this day 0, day 1, day 2 business. We continue our placement process as and when companies come. So in other B schools, usually they conduct placement season over a week. We don't do it like that. So we give you slow torture, spread over multiple months. It's not a 1 week business which other B schools do. Now, I would like to thank our director, Professor Chandrasekhar. You must have realized we were playing our video for how our campus was planning was. And we wanted to bring even second year students by June 2022. But COVID has played multiple spoil sport. It has affected economy very negatively, which meant some of our plans were delayed. We fixed our number, but we were determined to bring our first year to a permanent campus. And it needed a lot of effort, a lot of resources from multiple offices, especially our project office, to get this done. So when even till last week, we were trying to put everything in order so that you don't face a lot of issues. And director talked about it in his speech. So let me thank project office for accomplishing the completion of first phase, wherein we could bring all of the student in our permanent campus. And we use a lot of classrooms when you were registering yesterday. You would have realized that it is one of the best classrooms that we have created, highly technologically advanced. And one thing which again our director alluded to was, we want to give you an education around technology-driven management solutions, which means we as an institute also imbibe this similar philosophy in what we do, the way we set up our processes. We want to include the best technologies which are out there for, which can be used for teaching and learning processes. Then I would like to thank my admission committee members. Trust me, the amount and the scale at which we had done admission this year, because till last year we were doing all of it online. We did not have this constraint of bringing all of you here, which meant if numbers are a little bit up and down, we could manage it. There were no physical classrooms that were constraining how many people we take, what classroom sizes would be. But this year challenges were way different. our rooms were very exactly limited, and there are a lot of uncertainties when there are so many colleges out there, a lot of top IIMs, other B schools which are also sending out lists. It becomes very challenging for us to manage the number that we do. So specifically Professor Anupama, Professor Neena, Professor Saroj and Professor Vishal, these are my admission committee members, and they'll also agree to it, the amount and the number of mails that I keep on sending to them, many a times informing them and many of the times asking for approval. So I thank them both for their constant support, their critical views and encouragement. Right, so committees are there to slow you down when you are becoming too ambitious, also to help you when ideas are good, and they have played this role very well. I thank all the external faculty members because all of you would have noticed that many name and faces you will not be able to recognize while you were interviewing, because we invite faculty from Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Indore, MDI, top B schools to help us in our admission process. This year we have interviewed close to 3,000 students, which is in terms of scale close to what other first generation IIMs do. This is only possible over and above the support of 34 faculties that we have. We call a lot of external faculties who help us. So I would like to thank them all. Again, I would like to thank all my faculty members. They would know all these demanding schedules for conducting so many interviews over good 14, 15 days, many a times becomes very challenging. And sitting from 9 o'clock in morning till 6 o'clock in the evening on continuously for 4, 5 days become a big challenge for many of us. But all faculties cooperate. I have never faced any issue in rescheduling a request or finding a faculty if somebody has fallen sick or has some other work. So they were very helpful. I thank you all for your participation and help. I would like to extend thanks and for all the help that Vishwanath Behra ji, his PGP office, Ramesh ji for his PGPEx office, and right now he handles DGM office as well, and PhD office. These three offices are the backbone of all the academic activities that we run. Many a times you wouldn't realize the amount of classrooms that are scheduled, classrooms that are needed, and all of this works like a clockwork in this institute. And as an example which I have been using, at least I used in last year's speech as well, and I'll use it this year as well. How do you know a wicket keeper is very good? When you don't notice them. Wicket keepers are only noticed when they make mistakes. Our program offices and different support staff work like a wicket keeper who are only noticed when they make error. And most of the time they are never noticed because they do their work very efficiently and very well, which makes all the operations that we do very efficient and without any problems. I would like to thank all our friends from media and press who have helped us in echoing our message to the larger world. They understand us, they support us, they many a times act as a medium which helps us in sending out our message and our vision to the larger world. So I thank you all. Now finally, let me talk about my admissions office. We are staffed by 2 members, Shiva and Keshav. But this year we handled close to 20,000 plus applications across 3 programs, which again in terms of scale is way higher than what first generation IIMs with a staff size of more than 10 do. We have been able to accomplish it on the back of good products, technological products, ecosystem that we have brought in the system. That was helped a lot by our administrative staff, especially Mr. Jilani ji, who helped us in getting all these products on board, help us in bringing vendors at a fast rate, and especially my vendor this year who helped in a lot of development that we did, which helped us in scaling our processes to that level, wherein we could interview so many people, we could conduct an admission process at this scale. Now finally, I was talking about my admission office. Shiva and Keshav are very efficient. All of you, all 300 plus students, plus all the applicants, they communicate with 5 email IDs across all programs, and those all email IDs are handled by 2 of my staff members, and I hope none of you would not have received a response from us in a timely manner. So we accommodate all of the responses, and they have been very efficient, very responsive, and they have worked very well towards it. Let me add another line for administration. Administration is a backbone on which all the activities in the institute works in terms of administrative department. Kalimji, Jilaniji, his staff in our administration, Professor Anuradha as dean, and especially the support staff that has always been there. You would realize that when you walk into any meeting room, any interview room, water is always there, notepad is always there, your pen is there, pen drives and all, because all of us work in a very synchronized manner so that everything can be achieved in a timely manner. And I would like to re-emphasize what Professor Saroj was saying. We do not want to give you time of 8:30 and then start at 9. We want to give you time at 9 and we'll start at 9. So we do not want to work wherein times are not honored. We here want to work on a principle wherein there is a lot of professionalism in the way we act, and we find our administrative staff and all our staff members are here very professional, very helping, very accommodating, and they always take an extra mile in getting things done. Now, this was the first time when we could ask our second year students to help us during the registration process. Before this, we used to do it online, at least after I became admissions chair. We were doing it online, and we could get it done within our staff members and all. But this year we realized handling physical registration in a new campus with 300 plus students with my limited support staff was not possible. We asked our second year students to volunteer, and they did a great job yesterday in getting all of it done in a timely manner. I thank you all. And of course a party is due, which I will offer to you once this entire inauguration and orientation schedule is over. And let me thank all the parents. Although you have not helped us in conducting this process, but you have made all these students ready to come to us. So let me extend thank you to all of you in helping all our students to reach where they are. And I am certain that you will extend similar support for 2 years and keep and be a constant light for them wherein they know what they need to do. And something which I would like to reiterate at the end, something which Professor Saroj alludes to in multiple meetings, that remember, you are not a customer of this institute as a student. Our customer is society. You are the product via which we talk to the society at large. So if your behavior is not up to the mark, society will judge us as an institute. So finally, some closing word. We are right now, as you would have seen, we are in the 8th edition. You are the 8th batch, which still means we are in the founding phase of this institute. Also means that all of you are the brick that we are putting in this broader vision of I am Visakhapatnam. And if you do not play your part and act in similar manner, I am Visakhapatnam may not be able to achieve its true potential. So I welcome all of you again, and I thank all the people who helped us in conducting this entire process. Now I announce the close of inaugural session. You are invited for lunch. Kalimji, just before I was coming to take the mic, he said he has sent some message. Let me just read it out for you. So all the first year students along with parents are requested to take your lunch on the ground floor, and all the other members can take lunch on the first floor. There is more division, but I don't want to read it from here. They'll announce it. Once we have closed this ceremony, they'll announce it. So I close the inauguration session, and thank you for participating. If there is an announcement to be made, please make it. Thank you. All of you must come for a photograph. They'll tell you what the venue is. All the first year students, where? So all first year students can come in the front. We'll take a group photograph and then we'll break for lunch. Please just announce this. Let's take a photograph at the ground floor, right? All first year student, PGP, PGPEx and PhD, can you please come in front?